This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stockbox interview.
Joining us today is Oliver Friesen, the CEO of Golden Metal Resources, and Thomas Davis from Oxford Sigma, who are the group that Golden Metal Resources signed an MOU with. They're a nuclear fusion technology company, and they signed that in July to collaborate in the exploration and development of the critical metal supply pathways for tungsten alloy and tungsten-containing materials within the fusion industry. Well, welcome to you both. Of course, Oliver, we speak quite a few times on Stockbox, but Thomas, it's the first time that we're speaking. Welcome. Could you just first of all perhaps introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the work that you do at Oxford Sigma?
Thank you, and thank you for the introduction. So my name's Thomas Davis. I'm the current co-founder and chief technology officer of Oxford Sigma. We're a fusion technology company based in Oxford City in the UK. And we work on materials development and material solutions, essentially for fusion energy, trying to make that a reality as a power station going forward in the future. One such material that we're interested in have technology and expertise is tungsten.
Okay, and I wonder how the partnership with Golden Metal Resources came about and what the shared vision is, because it is unusual for a listed company to get into a partnership like this. So what are the shared objectives you both want to get out of it, and how did the partnership start?
Yeah, so the partnership started. So Oxford Sigma, we've had a strategy on securing and understanding the supply chain around critical materials for fusion. One of them that we work on is tungsten. More of the metallurgy side and the application of using tungsten, but the quantity and scale needed for a fusion power station going forward and the rollout of them in the long-term future put us together, really thinking about strategy on long-term. So the company put together that short and medium-term sort of a long-term vision on tungsten supply, and looking at the medium-term aspects, Golden Metal Resources was a clear opportunity for us to discuss and have clear shared objectives on supplying tungsten to an industry which is in need of it in the coming similar timeframes as the online component of Golden Metal Resources in the future. But we also share same objectives, but not just in terms of supply, but also sort of Western supply of tungsten for various industries. We share the energy as Oxford Sigma, but there's also others as well there that I know Golden Metal Resources are interested in as well. So it's bring them together, and hence why this MOU's come about. Is for us to really de-risk some of our technology going forward, and we see GMR is a cornerstone of that.
Okay, Oliver, I wonder if you have any thoughts on this. It is slightly unusual for a mining company, particularly in the early stages, to partner with such a company like Oxford Sigma.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And kind of the way that it came about originally was, there's a few articles that are kind of leaking out on Twitter over the last, I would say, year. I know Nature put one out, but it was talking about the use of various metals within this kind of burgeoning technology. And tungsten continued to come up in each and every article. And that kind of led us to reach out, and we kind of mutually reached out to each other as both UK-based companies. Obviously, Thomas and his group on sort of the fusion side specifically, and then us more in the exploration and development of tungsten supply, specifically in the US. We thought it was a great partnership. So as mentioned, we're looking to collaborate here. We're actually going to be meeting face-to-face for the first time in Oxford. Later this week, we have a few board members from GMET going up to Oxford. So we're looking forward to sitting down and really talking about, the need for Western world supply chains of tungsten and how we can collaborate together to raise the profile and really make it known to the governments and the various groups who are putting a lot of money into this technology, how important these critical metal supply chains are going to be to really make sure that there's no real bottlenecks as this technology continues to roll out.
Okay. And I mean, Thomas, can I ask you, what does Oxford Sigma look for in potential partners with regards to the metal supply chains required for nuclear fusion? And in your opinion, are governments who are funding this technology aware of the potential supply chain issues for the important input materials, metals like tungsten?
It's a very good question. So the metal supply chain and what we look for and sort of the characteristics of a partnership and that going forward is, I mean, you mentioned a bit earlier about, why would us two organizations come together. For us, it's about, having the shared vision of a long-term project, which has a great benefit for the future. Ours is energy in this particular case, but tungsten has very many aspects as well. So we're looking at that, and also saying which is sustainable for the future in sort of the Western countries going forward, as these energy sources come online over the next, we're talking 10, 20, 30, 40 years, depending on how development goes, will become more of a national programs of various countries. So ensuring that the supply is there to field that is something that, is within our sort of core mission of providing materials, right? You can't provide a material without a supply chain which can actually supply what you need. It seems somewhat obvious, but sometimes in these sort of applications, it's not thought of on the forefront. But we're trying to bring it to the forefront on that aspect. In terms of the government response, the two sort of governments will come to mind which are leading the fusion development is both the United Kingdom and the United States. Both have sort of a domestic fusion program. UK is going to construct a fusion reactor by 2040, whereas US are allowing or enabling the private industry to do so. I would say tungsten is, or at least the use of tungsten is synonymous with fusion, but the supply chain behind it may not be equally matched up. At least we haven't seen that yet, and hopefully these relationships and this sort of discussion going forward could provide that sort of platform for that information to bring forward to both organizations, because it is critical. You need the raw materials to build these things. Otherwise, we as a company can't conduct what we want to. We want to ultimately, sell tungsten-based stuff, right? No matter what the stuff may be for fusion, but we need to secure that supply chain for ourselves and for the industry.
Yes, indeed. Of course, that's very important. There are, I know, very large concerns about the security of these critical metals, and it's probably only through partnership like this that they can be addressed. Oliver, if I can sort of ask you a final question just on, of course, Pilot Mountain, where this tungsten will hopefully come from one day. What are the ongoing plans for Pilot Mountain, and will both companies work together? Do you plan to work together to explore on Pilot Mountain, or will this very much be a Golden Metal Resources focused program?
Yeah, of course. So just a few data points just to kind of echo what Thomas said there in terms of the US and UK needing a Western world supply chain of tungsten. The United States currently has no domestic primary production of tungsten. So there's no active mines, which means obviously they're a net importer of the metal, and their biggest import partner is China. So obviously that poses some problems. On top of that, the United States Department of Defense for defense procurement has actually banned the imports of tungsten from China as of January 1st, 2026. So, Thomas mentioned some of those timelines, and we're really looking sort of short to medium term as well, because I think the reality is the need for Western world supply chains is now, especially of these really important input metals into industries like fusion, of tungsten being one of the more important ones. So where we're going now with Pilot Mountain, with those data points in mind, we have a really aggressive award strategy, looking to tap into some of these non-dilutive funds that are available to companies and projects like ours. As mentioned, we're going to be meeting face-to-face up in Oxford later this week. We'll probably have some further news or some tweets to put out from that meeting, but just looking to sit down and say, okay, what's the problem? I think we've identified mostly what that looks like, but more importantly, what's the solution here? And obviously, Thomas and his group have a lot of great connections through their industry, and vice versa. We kind of fit in on the other side of the spectrum, which is, we have expertise in exploration, development, and mining as well. So we're looking to kind of plug our skill sets and our minds together to solve this problem, because not many people are talking about it. But as Thomas mentioned there, without these input metals, there's going to be huge bottlenecks. So we're looking to really sit down in the early innings and say, where is the puck going effectively, as a Canadian reference for you all. But how can we now kind of get ourselves prepared to meet some of these demands, and specifically in tungsten, where we have such a strategic asset in the US. So we're looking forward to really, pushing the narrative forward in the dialogue and see where this goes. But ultimately, we're working towards the same goal here, which is to really help establish Western world supply chains, because the need for that is now, and not many groups are really kind of putting their hat on and making it happen. So we're looking to change that effectively.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, both Oliver Friesen, CEO of Golden Metal Resources, and Thomas Davies from Oxford Sigma. Thank you both very much.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like, or a retweet. subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.